Jungle Cruise, out now in theaters and on Disney+, new family adventure film starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emily Blunt, Jack Whitehall and Jesse Plemons. It's Disney's new try at performing the Pirates of the Caribbean experiment successfully once again. Because I think many people don't know this, but Pirates was actually originally based and adapted not from books, not from comics or older movies, but it was based on a Disneyland attraction. They just took the rough setting, Pirates of the Caribbean, some specific names and locations and objects, and then made up a plot and a movie. And the rest is history. It was a smashing hit, a genuinely fun adventure film, well made. It spawned a massive franchise that unfortunately managed to overstay its welcome, and with the latest sequels being completely dogshit. Jungle Cruise has a bunch of similarities with the first Pirates film. It is also based on a Disneyland attraction. It is also an adventure film revolving around ships and water. It has bankable stars in it, and the storyline touches on ancient curses and magical objects that can possibly remove them. So the story takes place in 1916. At the beginning of the film, we meet the main cast. Emily Blunt plays Lily, an London-based adventurer interested in the legend of a magical tree growing in the Amazon forest that supposedly can heal any wound. I mean, the flowers growing on the tree can do that. The Rock is a skipper of a rusty, old, banged-up boat that he uses to take people on these bootleg cruises around the Amazon River. The two of them, of course, meet up, team up along with Lily's brother, and they go upriver to try and find the tree. But they are chased by an evil German prince, Joachim, played by Jesse Plemons, and also, as it turns out, by actual cursed ghosts of the Spanish conquistadors that tried to originally find the tree 400 years earlier. So, with this film, you kind of get what you pay for. I'd say it's almost exactly what was advertised. The Rock cracking jokes and beating people up in the jungle, all the while being a lovable scoundrel. Emily Blunt being charismatic as hell. Jesse Plemons chewing scenery left and right and going absolutely ham with his ridiculous German accent. There's humor, there are bombastic set pieces, there are beautiful landscapes, although these last ones are visibly CGI. I mean, it's pretty clear that very little of the nature we actually see on screen is real. There is some swashbuckling and some plot twists and some emotional touches. It's all here, and it's all right, but there isn't anything special. It feels pretty by the book. I don't think there really was a single moment where I was really wowed on or surprised or fascinated, either on an emotional or on a technical level. Some things stand out as done very well. I liked the character introductions in the first act. I think that they are pretty tight. The ghosts' designs are pretty cool. Plemons and Blunt, as I already said, give very entertaining performances. On the other hand, there are some things that are flawed. Lily's brother is like the most stereotypical token gay character that Disney could possibly think of. He fills every cliche, and it's just, I was just rolling my eyes. I thought that having two distinct villains, the ghosts and the German prince, in this particular scenario makes things chaotic and a bit all over the place in that regard, and I thought that they really aren't juggled that well as story pieces. The editing is at times actually painful. I don't know what happened here. I mean, rapid, confusing cuts all the time. During action sequences, I can understand that. They mask and cover what isn't really there. But there are slower scenes, moments of conversation, when the camera just jumps all over the place for no good reason, and it induces a headache. It made me think of that terrible cafe conversation scene from Bohemian Rhapsody. Just cut all the time, never letting the image breathe. The cinematography and editing in general are a little bit schizophrenic in Jungle Cruise. Also, one thing that I can't quite decide if it's unequivocally bad or maybe good or just out of place. The film opens with a rendition of Metallica's Nothing Else Matters. And then that song is used once again in the second act in a kind of climax flashback. And it did feel pretty awkward, out of place and weird, I guess. I'm just not sure whether it fits with the film in general or with the rest of the score even. It's just odd. Anyway though, I guess that the biggest takeaway from this film is that it's fine, but it's not another Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's kind of interesting to think about it, because on paper, Pirates could very well have been an equally generic movie. But I think in that case, there was a perfect storm of Gore Verbinski's bold direction, Hans Zimmer's fantastic music, and of course Johnny Depp just taking the character of Captain Jack Sparrow and doing something completely wild with it. And if you compare Jungle Cruise with it, again, on paper they seem very similar in many ways, but this new film just doesn't have that wild card combination in execution, and it ends up being fairly generic. But of course, while it's not special or memorable in any way, I do think it's completely okay at what it does, and if you have kids, then you will especially enjoy it altogether.